Hello, and welcome to the Otaku Clubhouse. And this is Sink or Swim. What is Sink or Swim? Well, it's where we discuss anime, video games, movies, and just about whatever media catches our eye. Then give our first impressions of them. From top to bottom, we give our ratings of a swim, a tread, a float, a drowning, and at worst, a sink. Comments are always welcome, and of course, we're waiting to hear what you have to say too. Let's get into it.
Okay, we have just finished the first episode of Ojisan Isekai, otherwise known as Uncle in Another World, I think, something like that. I don't speak that Japanese shit. Close enough. Very funny comedy show about a old ass nigga coming back from being in another world. So let's get into it.
Okay. I mean that's kind of the most apt description of what it is about, because it's literally just about the Ojisan, which I don't think he actually gets a name now that I think about it. I think they literally just call him Ojisan. But it's about Ojisan coming back from another world after 17 years in 2017, so he hasn't interacted with the regular world since 2000. And I know that most of you people who use YouTube right now don't even know what it was like in 2000.
You weren't even born yet, you pieces of shit.
It was better. Better time.
But I can tell you, from the way Hawk is talking, yeah, Oji-san felt that way too, especially when that man was crushed with the idea that Sega no longer makes consoles.
So yeah.
I fucking was really enjoying all of this.
Yeah, so as I said, I don't know if this is coming out before the Harem Isekai. We're gonna have a lot of Isekai this season. This one is the coveted reverse Isekai. Or, I guess it's not reverse Isekai, like something like Gate, but it's, a character who comes back from another world after he finishes his journey. And I've never seen a story idea before. It's so original, so creative.
Nobody's ever could have possibly in fucking history of man possibly have ever in the history of man ever in the history of man possibly have come up with this idea.
Yeah, you're right. That's why this got a Netflix anime.
Yeah, that is right.
But yeah, so the way this story is told is that we are in the quote unquote real world, and Oji-san is trying to adjust to the modern day, and by modern I mean 5 fucking years ago. And he doesn't like smartphones. He wants a cool flip phone. He doesn't like getting trolled on the internet. Back in his day, you had to wait for fucking 2 hours to leave a comment on an internet video.
Or you'd have to say that shit to my face. Quit acting like a bitch.
And these hilarious scenes of him getting accommodated to modernity is interspersed with flashbacks to how he lived in the fantasy world. And it turns out that this man was so ugly that they thought he was a fucking monster, bro. This is sad, bro. He was called an orc. He would save people only for them to fucking turn on him. He would try to solve the village's water issues, and then they fucking call him a Satanist, like some Castlevania shit. He clearly was not having the greatest of times, but
the main thing that's noted in the manga, which the manga for this is a Pixiv manga, and to say that I had already read it is true. So one of the things mentioned in the manga is the fact that all the people in the regular world are ugly compared to the people in the Isekai world. Just flat out, all the people in the Isekai world are all good looking compared to everybody else in the regular world.
But even compared to everybody else in the regular world, Oji-san is kind of ugly, so you can see how that fucking would play out. One thing that I really liked is, I'm not sure how I feel about it now, but the fact that he got isekai'd in the year 2000, and he's dealing with quote-unquote modern anime tropes in the isekai world is how there's a whole bunch of misunderstandings for him, and he's like, oh, I met this elf girl, she really didn't like me, whereas the nephew is like, you son of a bitch. He keeps seeing the missed cues and shit, and he just gets fucking angry, and that's good comedy right there.
Yeah, it's literally the elf being like, oh no, get away from me, Baka. No, I don't actually like you. Haha. No, shut up, stupid. Haha. I guess at the end of the day, I'm gonna have to be the only person who can possibly be around somebody as ugly as you.
The nephew is like, the modern idea of a tsundere wasn't popular till 2004, and just slams the fucking desk.
Which is kind of based, because, you know, niggas who like tsunderes are just abuse victims, you know what I'm saying?
Don't you like tsunderes? No, you just like bitchy women.
Anyway,
my silence is not guilt.
Silence is compliance.
Speaking of the rest of the characters in this, so as far as characters are concerned, there's really only two other people introduced here, that being Takafumi, who is the POV character. He's your very average modern day Japanese millennial who has like no money, barely makes anything off of his part-time job, and lives in like a small 2-room apartment. And there's also the elf, who is the tsundere, who very clearly is, her entire personality is tsundere, and she seems to have taken a liking to Ojisan.
The idea is that, like, or well, in my head, I think the idea is that Takafumi is your typical isekai protagonist, except he doesn't get isekai. So
yeah, considering the way that the anime starts, that might actually be true.
The legendary Chuck-kun missed his target. I can't believe it.
Yeah, well, you know, we also, since we're talking about that, let's talk about how this looks in general, because it's very unique.
Yeah, I like the art style. It's like heavy lines, very bold. The colors are kind of muted, and in comparison, whenever we see flashes back or we see the actual literal memories of the fantasy world, it's obviously very bright, colorful, a little lighter, not as heavy on the outlines and stuff. Look at me, I'm a fucking snob. But yeah, I like the art style quite a bit.
Yeah, it was very different. It almost looked at first CG-esque, but they have CG cars and vehicles, so you can clearly distinguish between those two. So I'm not sure what they're really doing, but considering that the animation company that's known for this is known for literally one other anime, and it just so happens to be another Pixiv anime or another Pixiv manga turned into an anime, I really have to wonder, like, what to expect from this. They're known as Atelier Pondark, and the other anime that they're known for is not the one that is about looking at girls in their tights, but written by that author. So I don't know who this production company really is, but so far, like, this anime looks really good, and I'm enjoying just like I can't express how much I'm enjoying everything about this. When I was reading the Pixiv manga originally, I enjoyed it. I thought, man, this is really good. I love this concept. If only I'd come up with it a year or two beforehand, I probably could have written it myself. But, you know, I didn't, and I didn't write it, and it doesn't exist, and it's not online anywhere. But if I had come up with it, it would have definitely been a little bit edgier. But I think that it's great. Like, I really do enjoy a lot about this. One of the major things that I really enjoyed about it, actually, was the opening. Let's talk about the opening. You guys like that opening too, right?
Yeah, it was nice, catchy, nice.
I like the fact that in many cases, when it comes to these isekais and they make video game references and shit like that, it almost feels like somebody at some point told them how JRPGs work, but they didn't actually play them. This feels like somebody who played old JRPGs back in 2000.
Yes,
not only
clearly
somebody who played JRPGs, but somebody who was very big fan of Sega games.
So
Sega
the elephant in the
consoles.
room is that this guy is like a huge Sega fan. Like, not only the Oji-san character, but I believe the mangaka clearly is like some fucking old head. Is like, back in my day, the Sega Saturn was the peak of consoles. It's just like, bro, come on.
The first thing he says when he comes back and sees his nephew is, "Oh man, tell me how Sega is currently dominating the video game market." And his fucking son,
nephew,
his nephew has to tell him like, yeah, no, there's it's really only Sony and Nintendo now. He's like, but what about Sega? Yeah, I don't really make consoles anymore. And he has a fucking breakdown.
He has to use a forbidden spell that he uses to erase memories. And he writes down the memories before he erases them. And then his nephew's like, what's so bad that you have to erase it? He fucking looks at his, oh my god! It's like literally on par with the worst fucking tragedies.
Exactly. It's like fucking death to him that fucking destroys this man from the inside, and he just is like, I can't remember this anymore. I'm not even gonna think about it. Yeah. He also talks about his first love.
Oh yeah, so a cursed thing about this being a Netflix anime and having like all the fucking
infinite budget.
Yeah, all the stuff that entails to being a Netflix anime is that they could actually name drop Sonic and Tails and like show Sonic 2 on the fucking screen, bro. I'm getting tired of this shit, bro.
Not just that, they straight up name drop Sony, Nintendo, Amazon, YouTube, fucking
True.
and fucking Sega all in the same episode. Like that's Netflix money.
I wouldn't be surprised if next episode they're like watching TV and they turn on Netflix.
They turn on Netflix and they start showing the second half of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 6.
That doesn't exist. That's Vapor Anime.
Yeah, that and Tiger and Bunny too. But yeah, dude, like with, I guess the animation was okay. There wasn't anything like particularly incredible about it, but the art style really carries looking at this anime. Like everything just looks really good. I don't know what's going on with the art style.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it looks cool.
And since Sink or Swim is a first impression series, we can't really, well, Akuma might know, but I'm just, I'm blind to this series. So I'm saying in episode 2, when they go on about the slavery, and then Oji-san's like, why don't we have slavery in this? No, cut that out. Cut this whole section out. I'm ready to get my review.
Do you have anything else to say, Hawkeiser?
Not at all.
Alright, so let's give our ratings. I don't think I really need to explain to anybody else how I feel about this. This is an obvious swim. This is probably the new anime of the season that I have the most hope for, and that I'm looking forward to the most. So, yeah, swim.
I'm also gonna have to say that this is definitely a easy swim. Solid show. It's a comedy show. It's funny. Has, some anti-nostalgia, making fun of Sega fans while they're still down in the dirt. Pretty good. I can't get mad at it.
Oh, begrudgingly, I have to give this a swim as well. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a hating ass nigga. I didn't want to like this. As soon as I heard that it was Isekai Ojisan, I was like, nah, there's no way this can be good. It's combining the two things that I hate the most: isekais and fucking old people who are like 30 years old. So, but yeah, this was very entertaining. Very, hold on, 17 plus 7. He's literally 34 years old, bro. And he's like, oh, old man, Oji-san. Shut the fuck up. Bro, I'm gonna go to Japan. Okay, anyways. Yeah, swing.
Alright, so, so, drop a comment down below. Like and share the video around. And, if you feel any way about this, let us know. Hit us up on Twitter and subscribe to the channel, because there's more coming at you. See you in the next Sink or Swim.
Peace.